Okay.
I'm going to go, hey folks, this is Rhykker, streaming live from BlizzCon 2023. And sitting with me right now, we have Mr. Joe Shelley, game director of Diablo 4.
Hi.
So we got a number of exciting D4 reveals at opening ceremony, more than I was expecting, than I think anyone was expecting. We're going to talk through what we can about those, but before we dive into any of that, it's been 4 years since we've had an in-person BlizzCon. What's it like to be back?
Yeah, it's been incredible. I was here in Hall A. There are several halls here, and I was in the Diablo Hall here, which has this incredible Tree of Whispers, like an in-person Tree of Whispers. And it was, during the opening ceremonies, we had Chris and Tiffany were up there, and Rod were up there announcing some really cool stuff. And so I was here in Hall A with many of the fans of Diablo, hanging out and getting to hear all the reaction to it. So it's been really cool.
Yeah, and feeling that energy of the crowd and the audience.
Yeah.
That Tree of Whispers, we're gonna, I'm sure y'all are gonna see footage and photos. Is there any particular special head on that tree?
I'm told that there is Rod Ferguson, our general manager. I'm told that his head is up there, so I don't know what deal he made. The deal with the tree is you make some kind of bargain. So I don't know what kind of bargain he made.
All right.
But I'll have to ask him about that later.
Okay, we'll find out. All right. So a number of reveals. They're sort of coming in different chronological order. Why don't we talk through in order?
Sure.
So the first, I think, is it those 5 rings?
Right. Now, I want to caution here. We in the opening ceremonies, we announced a bunch of stuff, and we didn't go into as much detail about it as we're going to go into in our Diablo 4 campfire chat tomorrow. And so I would love to tell you all the things we're going to tell you in the campfire chat.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to have to limit it to the stuff that we've talked about so far, because we want you to show up for the campfire chat too.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, the Malignant Ring. So one of the things that is really cool about the seasonal model of Diablo 4 is that everyone can start fresh each season, right? So if you didn't play in Season 1, then you're not coming back in Season of Blood and thinking like, oh no, I have to go catch up here, and now I get, what do I have to, like, what's even happening? And so that sort of fresh start really provides the opportunity for players to jump in every season. If you missed a season for some reason, no big deal. Now, at the same time, when we have cool stuff like, let's see, we did talk about this, so the Necromancer powers, we heard, I think all of the Diablo players,
literally everyone,
including some rogues, were like, yeah, the Necromancer power that automatically triggers some of your core skills, that needs to come back, and the other thing about the seasonal model that's great is that because we can sort of build on things that we've released previously, things from previous seasons can come into future seasons in cool and interesting ways. And so seeing the Malignant Rings come back, seeing the boss ladder too, right? Like having Varshan come back having the Malignant, like it's also the theming around it, having those Malignant elements, like feel like it's like, yeah, I remember I was playing in Season 1, I remember the Malignant Hearts, and getting to have that sort of carry forward. It's so cool.
Yeah, and it's like all this like dev effort goes into making the seasons, and like it's nice that we get to keep some of it. It's a nice testing grounds to see like what are the features that hit best, that are best to be integrated into the base game. And I'd say I did not expect more to be coming for Season 2. Like Season 2 has already been such a huge win, such a huge season. So what was the decision to, I guess, roll out more content during the season?
Well, it's a sort of combination of a few things. One is as we talk about, as the seasons come out, we're always watching player feedback, right? And so, that means that we're seeing things that players are asking for, things like the enchanting preview window, for example. And so we're sort of constantly wanting to add more quality of life improvements and things like that. And then the other element really is that we just had a lot of stuff that we wanted to put in Season 2, and it didn't quite all fit into the release. But it also, with Midwinter Blight and with Abattoir, these are our first sort of seasonal it's like a season on top of a season, right? So like that we've got a holiday event and then we've got a seasonal endgame event. So being able to layer additional sort of seasonal mechanics within a season is a new thing for season 2 and
Right.
something that we want to continue doing.
And coming first will be Abattoir or the Midwinter?
That's right. Abattoir will be December 5th and Midwinter will be December 12th. So about a week later. We know that the Midwinter Blight is content that all players will hopefully enjoy and can enjoy. And Abattoir is content that's really for players who have got level 100 and are finished the season journey and did everything. And so, you know, those players they want to get into the end game as more end game as quickly as possible. So we thought that it really made sense for it to come out just a little bit ahead of Midwinter.
All right. Would you characterize it as pinnacle content?
I would absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
It's not messing around, and I would say that in particular, you're going to have to bring all of your skill with the game, but on top of that, you're going to have to bring your absolute best builds. Like,
okay.
It's not. This is not content that that every build will be able to complete.
I see. So for people that feel like, oh, like, I have a level 100 character on day 2, the game's too easy, is this going to challenge them?
I am always impressed by the ingenuity of our players in finding new optimizations and new ways to push the mechanics of the game. But yeah, I think so. I'm willing to say that it's going to challenge players, and you can jump on social media and tell me I'm wrong if that doesn't happen. But it's hard. Yeah, we've been testing it internally, and it's very challenging.
We say as we're literally watching a ball lightning sorceress.
Yeah, we know that players are going to bring their ball lightning sorceress into Abattoir, and we're ready for it.
And so way early into the season, you put out a message on Twitter saying, and I don't think you made a specific reference to anything, but you just said we're glad people are enjoying Season 2. We have no plans to nerf it.
Yeah.
Were you hinting at ball lightning?
Well, one of the things that I wanted to communicate with that is that we're also all fans of the game too, and so I think sometimes you can feel like maybe the devs and the players are like on opposite sides somehow, and the devs are like trying to be the gatekeepers of fun in some way. And we really are not. That is not our mission at all. We want players to have fun, and so a lot of the changes that we see in Season 2. I mean, even things like the 40% faster leveling. It really makes a difference. When you're level 70 and you're getting a Paragon point every quarter level. Well, the amount of time that you're spending between those quarter levels is a big factor in how the frequency of those Paragon points feels, right? So having them come in faster. But I got distracted on Paragon points. You were asking me about ball lightning and are we going to nerf ball lightning, but in a very circumspect way.
Sure.
So we want players to have fun. We want players to discover things about the game. Sometimes things that are intended, and sometimes things that maybe were not exactly intended all the time. But the key for us with Season, of course, from season to season, we're going to introduce all new all new items. We're going to introduce new uniques, all these kinds of things. The game balance is going to get sort of reinvigorated, and the meta is going to shift. And so, a build that is awesome in Season 2, it's probably going to be a different build that you're excited about in the next season, right? So definitely expect that. But in terms of Season 2 itself, we really just want players to have an opportunity to own things in a really cool way. And so, what I wanted to indicate with that tweet is we don't want to get in the way of that right now.
Fair.
Or ever. Right now or ever. Later. No, but later we're gonna make the game less fun. Right? We don't want to do that. I think we learned a lot from our experience at launch and our experiences in Season 1. And that's kind of what Season 2 is a reflection of.
Yeah, we are 4 or 5 months post-launch now, and the game has evolved significantly. and rapidly as well. Do you want to speak a bit about that journey?
Yeah, it's been, one of the things that I think we are really grateful for, and this is uh, maybe this will be a surprising statement, but we're really grateful for the passion of our fans, um, because people who don't care about something will
Yeah.
just like play the game like, I didn't like that thing, but I don't really care that much, so I'm just going to go do something else.
Right.
And you never hear about ways that you can improve the game unless people are passionate about it. So, we really appreciate the passion of our fans in coming out and saying like, hey, it's really important to be able to preview the enchanting, for example, or hey, I got to 100 and I want more content, Um, so that's really something where, and I think, you know, we developed season one alongside the launch of the game, and so we didn't have as much opportunity to react to a lot of the no. Oh, there we go.
Fix this time.
We didn't have a lot of opportunity to react to as much opportunity as we would have wanted to react to all of the things as quickly as we would like to. And so with season two, we've really been able to. That's kind of why you see like the tidal wave of quality of life changes.
Right. Yeah.
Like we really got a chance to add those, and future seasons, like, there might not be quite such a tidal wave there,
Sure.
but we're going to continue to add more things that are more quality of life, more end game. We're going to make improvements to itemization, and really our focus right now is on end game and itemization, I would say.
And so what we're seeing with the current season of we don't just get everything at the start. Some stuff might roll out in the midst of a season. Is that something that's going to be like a formula for future seasons? Is this a one-off thing?
Well, I think we'll see how it goes with season two. With Season of Blood, I keep calling it season two, but it has a name. Yeah, I think that it's really cool to be able to have things that come out as you're sort of progressing through the season. And one of the things that's cool about, in some cases that sort of naturally makes sense, right? Like we have the winter holidays coming up, and
Right.
we have a winter holiday event, right? So that's just sort of like a sort of really straightforward transition. In other cases, it's things that we wanted to bring to players as quickly as possible. We didn't want to wait for season 3 to bring out. And I think we'll see how it goes with season 2. And there's just so much stuff that the team is working on at any given time. Sometimes it makes sense to have it in sort of a mid-season patch.
Makes sense. And the Midwinter event, did we mention how long that one's going to last?
That will be
Is that a tomorrow topic?
I don't know if we mentioned it yet. We're definitely going to talk about it tomorrow. It lasts over the holiday period.
Okay.
It's roughly 3 weeks, I think, something like that.
Alrighty. And then season 3 comes next with leaderboards.
That's right.
And the activity was called Gauntlet.
Yes. So leaderboards are going to take place in the Gauntlet. We're going to talk. I'm going to talk actually at the campfire chat tomorrow. Go into a lot more detail about that, and we're going to show some mock-ups of some of the UI screens that players will be able to. That obviously a leaderboard. A big part of the leaderboard is the UI, and so we have some mock-ups from that from season 3. We're going to share that in the campfire chat tomorrow. Now, because they are the team did a great job on these. They look awesome, but they are not completely final. So there could be some small changes between what you see tomorrow and what you see when season 3 goes live.
Alrighty. And I think they mentioned something about a weekly cadence to them.
Yeah. So we think that there's some cool opportunities within a season to have. I don't want to spoil too much of the campfire chat, but we think that there's something cool about that. We also recognize that players want a way. They want to yes, sure, but also I was the best, and that should be written down somewhere so that other people know, right? Not me personally, but
Yeah.
and we recognize that, and we have a plan for that, and we'll be talking about that more tomorrow as well.
Cool, cool. And I think the last thing that was revealed was Vessel of Hatred.
Right.
Which probably can't say too much, but
well,
we
I
got a
could
couple
say
details.
that we're gonna be going to the jungle. I keep telling the team that I want to get my potion of life. Um, for our,
yeah.
our D2 players,
Yes.
Act 3, you always get that plus 20 permanent health. That wouldn't be that
Essential.
significant in Diablo 4, but it's just kind of a cool throwback. Yeah, we're going to be going to the jungle. We're going to be revisiting some cool places. We're going to show off a bunch of concept art from Vessel of Hatred tomorrow.
We will speculate endlessly about it.
And I think that there are in the trailer that we showed at opening ceremonies. I think that there's kind of a lot going on in especially the vocal track for it. So fans should definitely, sort of parse that carefully.
I did think I heard something about Akarat. Someone said, "Oh, it was just a repeated voice line from the opening trailer," but I did. Okay, well, we will sound analyze full breakdown when we get back home, folks. Very interesting. And how likely is it that there's going to be some, as part of like a marketing trailer, "Welcome to the Jungle" playing?
Oh, well, we should have maybe a few different. One of the things that's cool about Diablo is that we have players who have been playing since Diablo 2, and we have new players.
Yeah.
And they have all kinds of different musical tastes. So, Welcome to the Jungle is maybe it transcends time. I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair. So, what are you most excited about out of all these things that are happening?
It's kind of what I was just playing a couple days ago, and I posted about this actually on social media, and I was playing through Dry Steppes, and there's this beautiful music track there, and I was just stopping and like relaxing a little bit and listening to it. And I was also running along the coastline of Dry Steppes, which has beautiful waves. Anyway, no one cares about this because what's really important is things like Abattoir of Zhir that add more endgame and things, improvements to our itemization. That's what's really important. That's what the team is working on. But sometimes there are, sort of small moments where I'm just sort of taking a break, and it's cool to be able to take a break in the world of Diablo 4 and just sort of look at all of the hard work that the team has done.
I mean, it's been many, many years. You're seeing this thing come together. You probably saw it forever in Grey Block. At some point, at what point did it hit you like, we made a game? Like this is finally all come together.
Yeah, I think that I was playing through Skazglen, and I was up in the northern part of Skazglen, and I was riding through the same area that we built for the Blizzcon 2019 demo,
right?
Which I worked pretty closely on, and it was cool to see it in the final game. Not everything is the same, but it kind of gave a sense of perspective of like, because you kind of lose track with I don't know about other folks, but I kind of lost track of 2020 and 2021 with the pandemic.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it gives a sense of time. But at the same time, what I think that really we're most proud of is the ability of the team to listen to player feedback after the game has launched and make changes and kind of really show all the people who care about Diablo that we care about Diablo too, and we're going to bring the game in a good direction.
Awesome.
And that I would say that it's something where, player investment, like, because you when you spend time with the game, you're sort of investing in the game and your character, and also kind of in the future of the game, right? Because you want to be able to come back and have more cool stuff. And so, for us, it's really about demonstrating that investment is worthwhile.
Makes sense. We also heard that we're getting a new class with Vessel of Hatred, and that it is a fully unique class. Now, every class before is a returning class. I think you guys have honored the traditions of Diablo really well. The Rogue, I mean, in all but name, basically, is a new class. Like, you really made the Rogue your own.
Yeah.
But it's still, you held to the tradition of the lore and everything. My hope that I would always tell people for the 5th class was one of two things: either the sword and board character, because that's what a lot of fans really want, and I want people to be happy. But I also like okay, but what do you want? And I'd be like, I want the D4 devs to be able to leave their mark on the franchise with their own unique class. So without talking about the class itself, was there a decision at some point of like, okay, now we're making our own class, or did it happen more organically, where it was just like, okay, this is the setting, and we need to come up with something that is thematically appropriate to what's happening? Or
well, I would say that certainly when players adventure into the expansion, the class is going to be something that you're going to be present in the jungle with the new class, and it shouldn't be, like I don't know, if we went to the jungle and you were playing as a pumpkin or something, that would be kind of weird, I suppose. But it's not really about. I mean, certainly we have so many ways to express our creativity. It's not really about like what we want to do. It's more about what do we think will be the coolest thing for the players. And that certainly we know that there are lots of players who, even though we delivered the five classes with the shipping game, we know that there are some other classes like you mentioned that players love. And exactly as you said, we wanted to ship the game with classes that reflect all of the awesome stuff that have been in Diablo games of yore, as it were. And with the expansion, we want to show some of the new things that Diablo 4 can bring, for sure. But that's not a departure from. We're not sitting in the office thinking like, okay, now let me show you, my vision. Like, I don't care what you guys want. We're gonna give you the pumpkin class, right? Like, there's no designers who are back there like, it's time for the pumpkin class. But we think that the class that we're working on is incredibly cool. Brings new gameplay to Diablo. We think players will love it, and we're really excited to talk more about it in the future.
I think that was next summer. We're going to hear more about the expansion, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Alrighty, looking forward to that. And so, I believe Rod had mentioned in an interview annual expansions. Was that meant literally, or?
Well, I think what we can what we're committing to right now, right this instant, is a Vessel of Hatred coming out in late 2024.
Fair.
We need to balance the work that we're doing with expansions with the work that we're doing to support the live game.
Right.
We have a big team. The team can do more. The team can do more than one thing at once. But at the same time, we need to make sure that the people who are playing the game right now are having a great experience, and not sort of go too far into a perspective where it's like, well, maybe come back in the future and the game will be fun. The game needs to be fun now. The game needs to be fun in the future.
Right. And so, for anyone who might not know, you are a veteran of the Diablo team, many years. Did you start at Blizzard with D3 or even before that?
I was working at Blizzard. I worked on WoW for a while, and then I worked on D3. Yeah, so I worked on Reaper of Souls quite a bit. the patches, a couple patches before that, patches after that. I worked on the Rise of the Necromancer pack for Diablo 3. I I wrote all of the reactions to. So one of the things we did with the Necromancers, we added the oh no, the skill where you can rebirth. You
Yes,
can
revive.
bring back revive.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. How did I not remember the word revive? I'm playing a Necromancer in Season 2, but we don't have revive in Diablo 4, so see, it's not. But anyway, on Diablo 3, we wanted to bring revive back
Yeah.
for D2 Necromancer players, and so in order to do that, I had to go through. I think we had maybe 1,400 like variations of individual monsters, and so I had to go into all of like. Because the player fantasy of that skill was to, like, if I kill the thing, I want to push the button and have something that's like mostly that come back, and so that meant we had to build a bunch of, I don't know, 500 or so like different variations of them. So yeah, I worked on that, and then worked a lot on Diablo 4, and on the including on the demo that we did back in 2019.
Right. And so the I guess the pipeline is different now in D4, right? You guys have like teams, one team working on the expansion, one team working on, well, I mean, maybe it was the same back then too, but there's just maybe more now. The live service, the next season, with so many different teams working on different, I guess, future iterations of the game. How difficult is it to like coordinate? I mean, like let's say someone's working on the expansion, and then you're making some like pretty serious core changes to the base game. How does that like not mess up what they're doing? And
yeah, it's a great point. It's especially important for our system design team, and the people who are working on changes to the live game that sort of really reverberate forward to the expansion. So you know, it's less if for folks who are doing sort of terrain topography, for example. That's less affected in many cases than changes to uniques, changes to itemization, and so those folks need to coordinate very closely. And it's really sort of a constant thing. Like every day as we make changes to the live game, the team working on the expansion needs to know about those changes, and they need to be able to. We need to really coordinate so that we're sort of working toward the same end, and we're not sort of going in different directions. So yeah, it's. I want to call out. I think our producers, are really a sort of the linchpin of that effort.
Awesome. And I guess speaking to your personal journey from Reaper of Souls to here we are now, like I guess what are some of the biggest changes or anything in particular that you'd like to talk about your journey throughout all this?
Yeah, it's one of the things that's cool about Diablo 4 is that we were able to deliver the audience for a Diablo game. He has a lot of different kinds of players in it, and so we want to have content that all kinds of players love, and it's been really cool with the live service to and especially with Season of Blood, to be able to really come in with a lot more support for some of our core, our most dedicated players, because with the launch, we certainly we had some Helltide, and we have we had Nightmare Dungeon stuff. With the launch, we got to tell a lot of story, and we got to deliver more campaign and kind of expand the world of Diablo 4. And so it's been really cool with the seasons, and we really want to double down on this, and really deliver for our most dedicated players that are playing, every season and are always chasing like the top of the progression. So to me, it's really interesting. You were asking about my personal take on it. It's really interesting to design content that works for all of those players. Sometimes if we put, we were just talking about Abattoir of Zhir.
Yeah.
And how it's content that's really for, you finish the season. Um, and, when we're building stuff like that, we want to build it in a way that we're not, that we're sort of uh, reaching players as they're at the time when they're ready for that kind of content.
Right.
Because uh, you know, we have when a player steps into Diablo for the first time, or Well, we turned it off and on again.
Oh yeah, there you go. Okay.
Is it
Turning it
working?
off and on again. Fix it.
Can you hear us?
Test, test. And
We're
back.
All right,
Wonderful.
we turned
Thank
it
you so
off and
much.
on again. We were. I was gonna. We were thinking about doing the rest of the stream in chat.
Yeah. It's more convenient this way. Yeah. Oh, what were we talking about at the time? Chat, what was the last thing you were hearing us say? We'll find out.
Yeah.
30 seconds or so. Meanwhile, that's fine.
That's. I think it's whatever everyone wants us to talk about.
Oh, the Cow King. Yeah, all right. Well, I guess just to hear it. So what about the secret cow level?
Right. So certainly I don't know anything about it. It's really kind of confusing to me. But even if I did know anything about it, what I would say is it's been sort of incredible to see the stamina of players killing so many cows randomly in the world for no reason.
Stamina.
And the amount of effort that folks have been going through there, I would just hang on to anything that they get out of that for sure.
Hang on to anything you get out of that. Okay. So maybe don't chug your stamina potions just yet. Although they can always go back in, right? With the way it works, if I remember correctly. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I remember with the Overwatch, there was an ARG when Sombra was revealed. They did this whole like multi-month rollout of like teasers and stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're getting a bit of vibes of that. Where pre-season or season 1, people were figuring things out about the cow level and it got stopped. And now we're figuring out more about this thing that doesn't exist. And yeah, I think eventually we'll get there.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how it
doesn't play out.
Can I make a cow? How it turns out. Yeah.
Awesome. Rogue's gonna have electric imbue.
Oh. Electric imbue. Oh, interesting. Lightning imbue. That's a cool idea. I think it's been interesting to see how the imbue system has interacted. One of the things we spend a lot of time working on is at one point you couldn't. At one point in development, you had to commit to a single imbue, and
right.
we always are trying to balance like the number of buttons it takes up to make a build work with like the flexibility of players to do different things. And so we've added more features. We added some changes to the way that dedicated interact works. You can bind different interact buttons. So yeah, imbue is I think an opportunity for us to continue to add more content to the rogue for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I guess I can't. Yeah, I was gonna ask so like new skills being something that would. Okay, well, phrase it this way: pre-release, when we were at HQ doing the stream before.
Yeah.
I believe we touched upon potential new skills coming, and Joe P said maybe as an expansion thing we might see new skills. Is that the same general sentiment on if we were to get new skills at some point, it would be in an expansion as opposed to a seasonal rollout?
I think that we've got a lot of stuff coming with season 3. It's been interesting to see some of the different ways that the folks working on seasons have looked at ways to augment the classes, and skills are certainly one way to do that. We saw the Malignant Hearts in season 1, and in season 2 we have the vampiric powers, and so it'll be interesting to see where we go in season 3. I'm being I know where we're going in season 3. I'm being sort of coy about it, but I think that there are a lot of different ways to change the way that your class build feels. Part of that comes from itemization, and part of that comes from effects on the class itself.
Makes sense. So you've been working on ARPGs for a decade now. How has the landscape of the ARPG changed since 10 years ago, and where do you see it going in the future?
Yeah, I think it's interesting that one of the things that's really cool about ARPGs is that, oh, and actually sort of paradoxical, I guess, is that they're both a game type that's very easy to pick up and play, and also one that has the opportunity for a tremendous amount of depth through systems and itemization. And so, it's been really interesting to see certainly other games in the genre. I think it's cool to see. I think sometimes player folks, it can feel like, maybe we're like, are we like competing with uh, other
Survivor.
games, or like, you know, like like oh, players should only play our game or whatever.
Mm.
But you know, and we're all players too, and we all love playing ARPGs. So it's always cool to see other studios' takes on things, and we certainly all learn from each other and from players.
Do you feel the seasonal cadence of kind of about 3 months?
Oh, that was a
Got him.
serious bear.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a 109 bear.
All right, little trickier now. Yeah, so we've kind of across all the. It feels like across the genre now. We're every ARPG is sort of settled on a 3 month cadence of seasons. Um, do you feel like the rotation through different ARPGs is kind of like how the genre is moving, where like people like instead of just playing like one game, like okay, as long as their season starts are staggered, okay, I jump in 2 weeks or 3 weeks in one game, and then boom, I'm off to the next one, season start, and then the next. Is that kind of how you see the landscape shifting, or because like I feel like in the D2 days, right? It was like it's just D2, like that's all. I go back home and I play D2 every day for the rest of my life, like just grinding bale runs, and that's it.
Yeah, I would say that you know as developers, we're playing. There are so many games out today that are awesome, and it's awesome to have more options with games to play. I think the way that we look at it is that when you want to play Diablo 4, there should be awesome stuff that is meaningful, and there should be progression that you can achieve, and we want to have always be able to be introducing new stuff to it. So I think our our take on it is kind of like anytime you want to come and play Diablo 4, we're gonna have awesome stuff for you to check out. And that's you know players will make their own decisions about what they're excited about, and we want to have exciting stuff for them to check out.
Fantastic. And, oh man, there was something, and it just slipped my mind as I got distracted by that ancient there.
Yeah.
That was a man. Those. It's a nice like new event that pops up. Like the butcher, like it's always an exciting moment, and the sound cue, it's so good. But yeah, like so now we got the Bloodseekers adding other like these little exciting difficulty spikes that happen in the midst of these.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see the Bloodseekers, how the Bloodseekers have, um, they add sort of another layer of sort of surprise in a cool way, and it's been really cool to see that in season 2. We love the way that the Butcher um, adds some sort of uncertainty, and the Bloodseeker. It's been cool to see the Bloodseekers do that as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. What class are you playing this season?
Well, I'm playing Hardcore Necromancer in
Oh,
season 2, and then I was, I was talking about dry steps earlier. I'm doing that on my rogue, back in Eternal.
nice.
Got to get all of the everything.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a lot of things.
Sort of a completionist player, so
Yeah, yeah, that's reasonable.
season 2, it's like go in, do blood harvest,
Mm.
play through the campaign, the quest line there, jump into do all the boss ladder and get ready for Abattoir of Zhir, and then over on Eternal, it's like make sure that I have touched every pixel in Sanctuary. Because for us too, I mean, there are so many folks who work on the game and put their own creativity and their own sort of heart into it, and so it's important for me at least, to be able to Oh, there we
And
go.
we're back. Okay, yeah.
All right,
so
we
it's,
turned it on and off again.
huh. Thank you for the heads up. So it's
All right.
people are saying it's reacting to in-game, which is really weird. Is there some spark shooting off that's causing electrical
Oh,
interference?
maybe. Overheating, maybe, or something? But you were asking me about Paragon, Infinite Paragon in D3.
Yes.
Yeah, so certainly a consequence of having capped progression is that you can get to the end of it, and then when you do that, and you want to have more stuff to do after that, it means that we need to continue to add content, and certainly Abattoir of Zhir is an example of that. You know, I was talking earlier about how we have a lot of different kinds of players in Diablo 4, players who came from Diablo 3 or Diablo 2, or players who are new to Diablo. And, you know, some of those folks really love the way that in Diablo 3 it feels like every time you log in you can make you feel like your time was sort of accounted for. You feel like you made you did something like, yeah, maybe you didn't get an upgrade for your build, but you're making progress against something, and that can feel really meaningful. Another an effect of that that we saw in Diablo 3, though, is that it also can encourage players to play as many hours as possible. And so with Diablo 4, we do have we have cap progression. We've talked about that. We need to make sure that we're constantly supporting the progression for players who are reaching the maximum level, defeating Uber Lilith and Echo of Lilith and things like that. And I think that there are ways that we can improve the sense of the sort of effect of the there's one thing is that the Paragon in D3 was uncapped, and obviously we made changes to that in the recent season. One thing is the sort of effect of that in terms of encouraging players to play many hours, but the other component of it is the feeling of playing being meaningful, and I think that there are other ways that we can capture that and sort of capture the value of that in Diablo 4 going forward. Oh no, I'm someone.
Wrap it up.
Thank you. Oh, okay. Was I too quiet? Thank you.
All right, well, that's great to hear. I guess as we're going to be wrapping up, do you have any final thoughts that you wanted to share?
Well, we've just been so. It's been so cool to deliver Season of Blood and then come to BlizzCon and have players, uh, maybe catch me in the hall and say, "Oh, hey, we're having a great time with Season of Blood," and it's been great. We just did opening ceremonies. It's been great to say like, well, yes, and we're doing even more with Season of Blood, and here's a sneak peek of Season 3 as well. So there's just we are committed to continuing to support this game for years to come, and it's been great to be able to really start traveling down that road with Season of Blood.
Fantastic. And so tomorrow, campfire chat at, was it 2:30?
2:30 campfire chat. Yeah.
Right.
More details about all the stuff we talked about in opening ceremonies.
Fantastic. Joe, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Great answers. And yeah, we'll look forward to tomorrow.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Joe Shelley, everybody.